What's up, everyone? I know it's been a little bit, but there hasn't been much going on with the car since it's been down, and I'm waiting for some stuff to come in. But there was one thing I wanted to kind of go over with you guys before I put it back in the car, and that is the clutch. And as y'all can read in the description, I have a Tilton carbon clutch in my car, and I just recently put it in a few months ago, maybe 4 months ago maybe. And it's an expensive clutch, as if you've ever looked it up, you can see and whatnot, and you're just like, it's crazy. $4,700, $5,000 for a clutch. There ain't no way I'm gonna buy that. I could go through 3-4 clutches before that one even pays for itself. It's exactly what I thought. And I know a lot of you, there's not very much information on the Tilton carbon, and I know people that have looked at it, considered it, is it worth the price tag? And that is what I'm gonna kind of go over with you guys today and let you know, is it worth it or not? So let's take a look at it real quick. So this is actually the Tilton carbon clutch exploded. This is the front cover. As you can see, I believe it's a 12-leg front cover. It has a lot more legs than your traditional clutch you see on Evos that are usually a 6-leg or an 8-leg. It has a pressure ring. It has 3 floaters, which that's a float, these 3 up top, and these 2 driven carbon discs. All these discs, all 5 of them, the 3 floaters and the 2 driven, are fully carbon. And there's no metal in this clutch pack as far as the friction and floater discs go. And the pressure ring, this is actually what controls the clamping force on the clutch, is that pressure ring and the fingers on the front cover. And then of course you have the flywheel. So looking at this, you can already tell it's a little bit different. That's the expensive part about this clutch, is the carbon discs. If you actually need one replaced, it's about 800 bucks. And you're just like, stop right fucking there. It's just, you got to rebuild this clutch. You got to spend $800 on a disc. On other ones, you spend 130, 150 bucks. That's not the case. One of the advantages of the Tilton carbon clutch is the high initial price point of about 4,700 bucks brand new for the whole kit. But the rebuild is where it is actually a cheaper route, and over time, if you have your car, it'll actually pay for itself. You really only have to replace this ring, this steel pressure ring, whenever you're ready to rebuild the clutch, which I have one right here. This is actually a 20 thousandths thicker pressure ring than what I have in it right now. There goes the towel. And once I put that ring and replace it with this one, the clutch will actually be technically brand new again. So it brings the stack height back to where it was from the factory, and you're just like, 20 thousandths, that's not a lot. Mind you, my clutch wasn't slipping. I just figured, since the transmission's out of the car, I'm waiting for some gear sets, take some measurements of the clutch, get a new pressure ring, bring it back to factory so I don't have to worry about it. So the clutch wasn't slipping just yet. And I have some street miles, and whenever I went to Vegas for SEMA on the car, quite a few passes, and clutch is great. Held the power, love it, no complaints. So after that being said, is it worth it? This is where I'm gonna tell you, yes it is. From my experience, I have gone through a Quartermaster 8-leg. I've gone through a competition clutch triple disc, another competition clutch triple disc, and a competition clutch rebuild. So if you take that into consideration, that's $2,500, $3,500, that's over $4,000 in clutches. And my transmission never shifted perfect. It was always kind of notchy, you know, at high RPM, sometimes had lockout, and constantly having to rebuild the transmission. And it was just like, maybe that's normal. Maybe it's supposed to do that. You know, and over the past 5 years, 6 years, I just dealt with it. And then one day, the good people at JMS Racing had this clutch laying around from their old race car. And I was already needing another clutch. I was so sick and tired of these push style clutches, and I was like, you know what, as much as I didn't want to go back to a pull style because I hate the ring on the pressure plate, it's a pain in the ass to take off, I'm just gonna go back to exit. I'm actually not go back, I'm gonna go to an exedy triple. And you know, they're kind of tried and true. And JMS Racing is actually who tunes the car, and I talked to the owner and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to exedy Trouble. He was like, hey, I got this carbon clutch sitting here. He was like, I gave you a deal on it. He was like, it's not doing anything, it's just sitting here collecting dust. Make me an offer. Made him an offer. He took it. I'm thankful that he took, you know, it was kind of a low ball because it was kind of penny pinching at the time, but they're good people. Went ahead and took my offer. So I was actually blessed enough to get this badass clutch at a good price. And I put it in the car, and the first pull I ever made was in Vegas. I was like, I gotta make a pull in this car while I'm here. And the car has never went into third or fourth smooth, ever, since I built the car. And this thing, like butter. The first pull I made, and I was just like, no way. This thing shifted so freaking good. So whenever the car got back home, I made a pull, shifted like butter. I was like, dude, this clutch is amazing. Took it to the track. Every single pass shifted like butter. And it's all because of this clutch assembly. And traditional clutches, the hotter the clutch assembly gets, you can actually warp the floaters, and it can cause the clutch to create a lockout situation. With these carbon discs, you can slip the clutch pretty much as you need to, create as much heat as you need to, and they will not warp. They take heat very well, and they don't warp like the steel floaters do. So that is a very big advantage, especially whenever preloading off the line. And just from that perspective, if I would have gone to this clutch from the beginning, the car would have performed so much better, and all the clutches and headaches that I went through over the years with the other clutches, this thing would have paid for itself already. So I didn't want to make the big initial investment at first. I hadn't had any reviews on it, and now that I have it, I'm kicking myself in the ass for not getting it. So if you're considering it and you don't know, you're on the fence about it, I say if you can get it, get it. I will not put another clutch in this car aside from this one. This is the only one that has worked as well as it has. And yeah, that is my opinion on it. And there you have it. $5,000 clutch. Never thought that I'd have one, but best investment I ever made. Makes the biggest difference. So just a quick little video. It might have been boring for some of y'all, might have been informative for some of y'all. I may have, you know, some of y'all convinced y'all to get the clutch. But whatever it is, I'm still waiting on gears for the car. Once that comes back, I'll make another video of taking the transmission apart, putting those new gears in, going over the gears with you guys, what they look like. And yeah, hopefully that's soon. But thanks guys for chiming in, and I will see you guys next time.